everyone, this is Eleanor from Revolution. I am here with two legends, one in the car racing industry and one in the watchmaking industry. I'm here with Jackie Ickx and Carl-Fredrik Schöffele from Chopard. The Millimeter race for the 2022 edition is just about to start, and if we back up a little bit in terms of history, the first Millimeter race took place in Brescia in 1927. 1988 is the first year where Chopard became involved somehow in the Millimeter race, and it's also the first year where you two met. How did that started?
Well, I discovered the Millimeter because a neighbor of mine in Switzerland came back from the Millimeter in 1987 or 1986, because that was one of the first retrospectives. He said, you have to go and see this incredible race. And so I went, I met the organizers, and I was absolutely amazed. And I persuaded them, or we persuaded each other that we should be partners. And I went back home and I told my family, by the way, we are now partners of the Millimeter. And they said, what is that? A car race? So you understand that I was not highly successful immediately with this idea. 1988, we became partners and we introduced the first Millimeter watch on a very small scale, and the race was very small compared to today as well. But obviously, the year after, 1989, I really wanted to participate one way or another. So we didn't have a car in the family to participate. So I had also again persuaded my father that we should invest in a car, which would be a 300 SL Gullwing Mercedes, and
with an horrible color.
My friend here, Jackie, always loved the color. It's a very particular color, yes, but it's a very rare color too. Well, obviously not so many people chose it.
Nobody wants to go in it because the color is.
It's called strawberry red.
It's a great color, don't get me wrong.
You know.
Yeah, it's a matter.
But looking at his pants today, you know.
But so did you co-race the very first year?
Wait. and then I ended up having a car, but I didn't have a co-driver, or rather a driver, because I was thinking that who could I drive the Millimeter with? And funny enough, this is how life goes. I was attending a race in Germany. Sitting on a bench, I was sitting next to Jackie.
So it's the iconic Nürburgring track, right?
By accident.
No, it was. He wanted to do it on purpose. I realized that. I knew he was trying to have a contact with me, but I don't know.
It means a crush. He had a crush.
No, I don't say no. It was not a crush. There was something strange. You say, why is that guy coming next to me and sitting next to me?
He actually had a problem because he subsequently told me there was a problem with a piece of jewelry from Chopard, which I offered to solve to make sure that his wife was happy.
I was complaining in reality.
Yeah. And then you came to pick up the jewelry piece in Geneva.
Absolutely.
And that's why I said to myself, I might as well ask him if he wants to drive in the Millimeter the year after. And
he says, if you want your bracelet, you better come to Brescia and drive me around for the next few miles. And I really want that bracelet, and that's all the way to start.
Surprisingly,
but I didn't know it was the first one. I didn't know it was year one. It's really a matter of timing. It's unbelievable. When things have to happen, it had to happen.
And so 34 later, do you regret? Do you have any fond memories?
No, I cannot regret because I'm still here 35 years after. That means I was very happy, really, because there are many stories afterwards.
And
but that's the way it starts.
Yeah.
Well, but that's another aspect.
It's another story. But
now he says I'm a member of the family because after 35 years you're in, huh? And then if you go out by the window, you enter by the door. If you all go out by the door, you enter by the window. No, he cannot rid of me here.
Can I get rid of you?
Yes, I think it's another 15 years we can talk about that. But the race will continue for sure.
But the first race was really
And iconic.
remarkable because first of all he arrived. He said, "This is your place. I'm sitting next to you. I'm not going to drive." And I was very surprised, of course.
He was competing, I was sightseeing.
I was
You see the difference? Because
Nice.
driving I've done a lot.
I was kind of nervous to drive him around.
Did she
Yeah,
give
yeah.
you a couple of tricks on the
In an
road?
event
or?
I didn't know, and
Then I fall asleep.
close to Rome somewhere he fell asleep. So I said to myself, my driving must be okay.
Then he accelerated a lot to wake me up.
Did it work?
Yeah, we try the corners and the noise of the tires and so on, and then it waked me up really. I say, what's happening suddenly? I say,
And do you
"Oh,
have, of all the years of racing together, do you have one memory, one big souvenir that's really like striking when you think about all these years on the road?
Are you from the police?
Not yet, but I'm training.
Okay, we think about it.
I think there are quite a few.
We have plenty of bloody story. I must admit, we have been to a place, you took me in an hotel, really incredible.
Yeah, the first night we found ourselves in a hotel where newlywed couples go. And it was like a Relais Chateau. It was a nice place, but again, very kitsch, kind of. And we found ourselves, we had to share the room, you know. And he was kind of lots of jokes.
Is that the million? French.
So past the memories, every year you have a race and every year you have a new limited edition. This year you came with 2 limited editions, one in steel and one in ethical gold. Before we get into the detail of that piece, does Jackie has anything to say when it comes to adding some details or creative input on some of the watches?
I think every so often I ask him what he thinks about what we are working on, or when we worked on the Jackie X editions, that he obviously was into every detail. Because along the way we made a few Millimedia Jackie X editions, which are really rare today, and there he was very, very active.
The first few years, he took the time to explain me how a watch is working and who are the people who made these watches working. Because the success is directly linked by those who are making, producing the watch and so on. So after that, he started to ask me, would you prefer the blue or the yellow or the green or these bracelets and so on. That's the second step. And the third step is when he decides that I had a little experience in the watch affairs. We started the first edition, Jackie X edition, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, six editions. Then I had something to say, but at the end he had always had the final word. So I don't know why he was asking.
Yeah,
But it was always nice.
About reassurance anyway.
Yeah, you need
He
to.
always said, I always said, are you sure you want to do 1,000 watches? He said, yes, I'm sure. Oh, well, I think you're courageous. And then 6 months after, phone call, if you need a watch, you better hurry because they are gone.
Of course
So-
they are. But there's also an obvious link between watchmaking and car racing, from timing, performance, precision. All of this is linked to one another, and that's how you also got into that adventure together.
But if you look at all the cars in the Mille Miglia, that's the most obvious thing that you will see. It's about performance, design, and the harmony between the performance and the design. Although ergonomics, for example, was not an important subject, the pilots just had to fit in the car somehow. But everything else was important: the engine, the speed.
And how often do you get to watch?
And I think
to
you just
watch?
go to the Mille Miglia and you look around and you get inspiration for the next watch. And that's usually what happens to me when I come back from the Mille Miglia. I have ideas for another 2 years.
So it means that this year, when you were thinking of creating not one but two limited edition, and one using ethical gold and blue, because I think it's the first time you're using blue in the Mille Miglia race editions, what made you think of this?
Well, first of all, I thought that we haven't done much in blue.
Sure.
And blue is one of my favorite colors personally.
Me too. So,
See, perfect. And then we thought that the bezel could be blue, which is subtle, but you can tell. And which is more subtle even is the inside of the bracelet, which is also blue.
And you still have the 1960 Dunlop tire inspiration.
And we
where you
have the Dunlop
everything.
tire, this time invisible on the inside, and beautiful leather on the outside. So it's full of, the whole watch is full of details, and the pushers here, they have some kind of pattern here so you don't slip. And there's a steering wheel on the crown.
All the details. Into
And then you have a silver finish, which you can find if you look around the classic cars. You can find this on the dials of the cars. I mean, it's a watch is full of details always, and we take this to a really high level.
And can you tell us a little bit more about ethical gold? Did you know what ethical gold meant?
of course, everybody knows that today. It's to find out where the gold is coming from. That's evident. And they've always been ahead of everyone on that aspect.
Especially
Ah,
when
you
they
have-
launched that sustainable journey to ethical
Yes.
luxury.
Gold or diamonds. Yes, we know. They know. Sorry.
You see, you're part of the family.
You
without
see,
even being mentioned.
being a member of the family, you have to be aware of certain things.
Absolutely. So this year is also particular in a way that last year it was the original circuit from Brescia to Rome and then counterclockwise, but this year they're going back to being clockwise.
This year they're going back to the tradition, let's say.
And you said it meant a little, like something a little more, because being part of the watch industry, it makes more sense to go clockwise. Does it actually make a difference racing-wise?
Not really. But I think it's nice for everyone who participates, because the Mille Miglia is also a cultural event. It's history, it's racing history, but it's Italy, and so to drive along the roads that were taken in those days between 27 and 57, I think that it really adds an incredible part to the event. You know, there are not many, I mean, the Mille Miglia is a unique event. And
It's a gentleman's
the fact
driving
that you can take your prized possession, your car, along these roads once in a lifetime maybe, is just incredible. And so it's great to see what Stirling Moss, who was the record holder, saw, but probably didn't see as long as you see it, because he went a lot faster. But I guess
This is what you can say. Yeah.
but basically, to drive along these roads and to imagine how it was, I think that's really part of the event.
And what do you think really changed from the first race up to today? In terms of mentality, in terms of style, in terms of behavior, do you see like a big change?
Sincerely, they did try a different way to go to reach, because I understood you were asking if the needle goes right or left, and if it's the direction of the race is the same or not. The sighting is one point, but you see, it was not really a question for me, because I don't know why he doesn't want to compete anymore with me. No, he prefers to have a real good co-driver or driver, because I think she will drive. It's about Caroline Marie. They do it. They do it in the real family. You know that they kept it. They kept it really close. So before I was allowed to do it one time on two, but clearly the direction it takes now, it's really it will be Karl Fritz, his son, or Caroline Marie, or Katharina. So the prediction for me are not really good.
So maybe I
will remain probably a spectator, but it's fine, because the whole idea is to keep the spirit, the family spirit, and I think they reach the age where they can do that with their father. They can build a memory, and that goes within the family tradition. And soon, if not already now, they will join the history of the fifth generation of probably one day sixth generation in the family. And I think the things are well made. They go in the right direction. It's just the right path. And we are watching this incredible family doing their job. And the Mille Miglia was a superb connection to do that, where he originally, by good luck in a way, it just happened, but nobody knew it was going to be as it is right now.
I didn't imagine it will take, we would be on such a long road. But I think it's great.
That's the beauty of it.
Yes.
And when you, I guess if there's just one more question, and obviously, Jackie, don't.
They all say that's one more question. I know
No, but it's
that one I know
be
very well.
No, but you made it sound very emotional and personal that you were part of the family, but you were still now on the side because obviously the kids are now going in the front. But
I support fully that idea.
No, of course. But do you think, in terms on a broad scale, when the race started to the race today, generally speaking, has the mentality of the drivers, has the ambiance of the race changed over time?
No, the philosophy, for me, the philosophy remained absolutely
exactly
identical from the first day to, we maybe had some comment at a certain point that the Mille Miglia could be the victim of their success, because I think there were too many cars at a certain moment. And I think at the moment the flexibility goes to a reduction of the number of cars.
I think the importance is to keep it at a certain size where it's still humanly possible to communicate with everyone. And but this is being done, and the Mille Miglia still creates such an incredible, almost high hysteria in Italy when everybody passes by. It's
cheering people.
The cheers, and people are. It's amazing, and nothing has changed about that.
And do you think that it's because of this gentleman's rules and the lifestyle and the mentality behind it?
I think Mille Miglia is an event that is done with style and
Respect and passion.
respect and gentlemanlike, and I think this is part of the history also of the racing in those days. Racing was, the only one could tell you this is Jackie, but racing was quite different in those days and even before. And I think the spirit is kept. And it's like going back in time, It's you can take a trip back in time when you do the Mille Miglia for
I think
60 hours. So.
I think that there is one thing who hasn't changed through all these years, from the Marzotto time when they create. It's the passion of the people for the automobile and later for car racing. This event works because they are surrounded by people who are ready to be on the road or ready to go at the starting line. It's human. The passion and the motivation human, they put together people coming from different places on this planet, foreigners, Italian and so on, and they are together sharing the same passion. And the most beautiful aspect of the Mille Miglia is that everyone can come next to the car, touch the car, hear the music of the car, the color of the car, who are nicer today than they were at the time, because they are so beautifully repaired and so beautifully painted that you can exchange between collectors, drivers, spectators, and share your passion. And it's about sharing. That's the success through the years. It's a moment in these difficult times where everyone can talk about something without limitation, with a certain or even big freedom.
Thank you very much for this. Thank you very much for both of your insights. And we'll be back with more stories later. Bye.